everybody, what's up? It's D Simone here, and I am back today with another wig video. So we're just gonna get right into it. I am starting with this lace frontal. I already took care of the bleaching of the knots and everything, so I'm just gonna secure it to this mannequin head with my T-pins, and this is on a dome cap. And you just want to make sure it's flat all around, and there are no bumps, because if it's bumps on the mannequin head, it'll be bumps on your actual head. So you just want to make sure it's smooth out, and that is supposed to be like, it's supposed to be hanging like that a little bit in the front. So you want to make sure that back band is what's smooth across the head of the mannequin. And I am just sewing it down. I have a video actually coming out about how I customize my frontals and my closures, so that's coming up soon. I just didn't want this video to be like crazy long, so I had to cut some stuff out. So I have sewn the frontal all the way down to the cap, and I am just securing it and cutting off the extra thread. And I am using these 2 bundles of unprocessed Brazilian virgin hair. Yeah, I'm not going to say the name of the company because I'm trying out a few different vendors right now. So, yeah, I am just sewing this, starting at the point of where I ended the frontal, and I'm sewing it all around the cap in the U shape, and then you'll see it as the video goes on. I'll start from the middle and sew in the front, up to the front of the cap. And this is my last row coming across, going all the way from both side to side, and I think I did about 3 or 4 rows like this, and then the rest you will see later. And I'm just securing the end, and I use the T-pins a lot when making wigs, especially when I'm standing up, because it just helps the track to lay where I need to sew it at, instead of me having to pick it up every time I want to sew a track. So now I am starting from the middle, and I'm just filling in that section up into where the wig is finished. So I'm just going to sew back and forth up until the frontal part. And this really did not take me long to make. It was just the fact that when I started it, it was nighttime, and the video quality was kind of looking bad. You see it looks better here now because it's daylight and the sunlight. I decided to wait for you guys. So yeah, it kind of took me days to make it, and but only 3 hours in total with the cutting and the sewing and everything. So I'm just finishing up the sewing, and when you get to the top, you want to make sure your stitches are a little closer together, especially if you don't like to put a lot of tiny braids in your head. It can make it lumpy if they're not close together, so you just want to make sure it's really secure and no lumps and bumps. And as you can see, it's a hole in my cap. I don't know how that got there, but it was fine. It ended up working out, and I am now done sewing and just securing the end. You want to make sure you go through the end of tracks multiple times just to make sure they don't come up and fly up, and tie them down 3 times. So now this is the completed wig, and the frontal was actually loose wave, but the hair was straight, so I'm just straightening the frontal just to get an idea of how long it is, to see how I wanted to cut it. And I ended up really liking this frontal just for the fact of how the hair straightened. And I am back in my apartment now. I am ready to cut. I didn't want to do any cutting where I was because I was at my sister's place and it was just a lot of carpet. So I wanted to wait till I get home to cut so I can just sweep it up. So I'm taking my trimmers and going across the bottom. When I started this, I really didn't imagine it being as short as it was, as short as it ended up, but I ended up really liking the cut. But, this was the first few steps, and obviously I kept cutting it shorter and shorter and shorter. And I was going for a little asymmetrical type look, so I was just straightening it through the process just to make sure it looked okay. And this is the part where I realized, I could lose a couple more inches. So I'm just going back in and really, taking my trimmer to get it in there. But, those got dull. I shouldn't have used those. So I have to go in with the clippers and clip all that hair away. And I like using the clippers. It just took so much more off at once. That's what I should have been using. But, it's whatever now. I'm flat ironing it. This was like towards the end when I was starting to get more satisfied with the cut, and now I am just going in with my scissors and doing some point cutting just because it was a little bulky, just because I had like, cut it like right across. It was a little blunt. So, I'm going in and I'm kind of thinning out and layering so it's not as big and bulky and look like a big, curl bump up under, my neck. So you just want to, thin out the hair a little bit. And I'm cutting a bang now. Um, this was like, towards the end. I would think I got more satisfied at this point, but I did ended up cutting it more like the very next day when I did the ending of the video. But because I realized the back was a little lighter than the front, so I did go back in and I dyed them the same color. So that is all for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you are already subscribed to my channel, thank you for coming back. If you are new to my channel, please press the subscribe. And thank you guys for watching. Bye. Every time I turn around, I pray to God that my